Cizzzats here with part 2 of my Halo 2 refresher course. We're going to finish Midship, start Lockout, but first I'm going to elaborate on some details I skimmed over in the last video. First is the BXB. If you play on default controls, it's just like it sounds. You hit B, X, and B, which is melee, reload, melee. If you press X or the reload button too quickly after your first melee, you'll get some of the properties of a melee, but the melee won't register. You'll get a lunge, you'll get the animation, but as you see here, nothing happens. What you have to do is wait for the first melee to connect before you hit the reload button. You can either wait for the visual indicator, or as you practice it a few times, you'll just have the timing down. It's very easy to learn. The BXR is also just like it sounds if you play on default controls. It's melee, reload, shoot. And just like the BXB, if you hit the reload button too quickly, your melee will not register. Now here I'm showing off the different speeds of the RRX, also known as double shot, which cannot be done unless you have extra ammo to reload with. It ranges from almost as slow as shooting twice normally to almost as if you shot 2 bursts out at once. Now the easiest method for me to double shot is to double tap R very quickly and then press X about the same time as I would in a BXB combo. That doesn't produce the fastest double shot, but it's the easiest to do consistently, and from there you can practice your speeds and get quicker. Now here's the YY. Note the speeds as you switch weapons when you just press Y normally. Now here's when you press Y twice in a row, sorta quickly but not super fast. Now here's when you double tap it very quickly. You can see how quickly you switch from your BR back to your BR. You can use this to cancel almost every gun's reload animation about halfway through. Whenever the clip is about to be inserted into the gun is when you can cancel the animation with the YY or BXR. And if you weren't sure what the YY is, it's just the weapon switch button, which is Y by default. Now here's the BYYR, performed just like it sounds. It essentially allows you to BXR without needing to have a full clip. However, it isn't as fast as a BXR. This is the RRBX, which is a hybrid between the RRX and the BXB, and this will also allow you to perform a BXR type movement. To perform this, you have to double tap RR like you're going to do a double shot, but before you press X, you have to press the melee button. The timing for this is very specific, and this is definitely the hardest button combo to pull off. Basically, you're performing an RRX with the melee in the middle. The X and the RRBX combo performs the double shot and cancels your melee as if it were a BXB combo. This means if you press X too early, you'll cancel the melee completely, and if you press X too late, the double shot won't come out. Now I'm going to show off the melee properties of all the objective items in the MLG game types. Note that the bomb, the oddball, and the flag all do the same amount of damage. Crouching melees and standing melees do the same amount of damage, as well as jumping melees when a player has not reached his peak or is falling. This is basically the same amount of damage done by a falling jump melee when a player is not holding an objective item, as shown off in my previous video. In the rest of this clip, I'm going to show off that there is a health system under the shields that the player cannot see. After performing 4 regular objective melees, a player with full shields will die. Now you'll see that a falling jump melee is an instant kill on a player with full shields and full health. Note that you don't have to be exactly at the peak of your jump to perform a one-hit melee kill, but it's somewhere around there. Here's a great way to utilize these stronger melees in a common situation on Midship Assault. As you can see, you don't really leave the bomb circle, so the arming still charges and you get the awesome one-hit kill. You can also perform a BXB with any of the objective items. Now I'm going to show you some awesome midship jumps. The first one is for jumping from P2 window to P3. This allows you to escape anybody that's charging up either of the ramps. The easiest way to perform this is stand a couple feet away from the wall, walk forward and jump while crouching at the top. Your body will make contact with the wall and slide up over it. See this guy right here? I'm going to show you how to kill him from P2. I missed this in my last video, but just like in other spots, you can nade through the wall. This works on both sides. Now this is a very common jump to fake people out that are thinking you're going to go to P2. But you can jump from the ramp to the P2 window, and this will throw off most players. You need to aim your jump so that you're crouch jumping over the bottom right or bottom left corner that's sticking out in front of the base, as shown here. Next is a useful spot in a game type such as Capture the Flag. You cannot be shot from anyone inside the other team's base, and if they try to run out pink side, you have the best vantage point to take them out. They'll have no reason to look up there, and you'll definitely have the advantage if it's split screen with the reduced vertical field of view. You can also jump top middle from the spot in case you need to get a quick top middle flag run. Hopefully this has covered almost everything on Midship. If I've missed anything, let me know. Now we're on Lockout. The rest of this video will only cover a little over half of the tricks on this map. Stay tuned for my third video, which will cover the rest. First, I'm going to go over the weapon respawn times of the 2 power weapons on this map. Note that I drop an empty sniper at 54 minutes even. The respawn time for sniper on this map is 1 minute and 16 seconds. I will include a link to a spreadsheet in the description with the respawn times for all power weapons and power-ups in MLG game types. The sniper respawn time should be 52:46, give or take a few seconds, which seems to be a random amount factored in when a weapon respawns, or there's fractions of seconds included in respawn times that we can't see. Now I'm going to show off the sword's respawn time. Note that I drop it at 56:40 even. Now one thing to consider here is that weapons that are dropped off the map don't despawn instantly. They actually land at the bottom of the map, and then you have to wait the 30 seconds like normal for the weapon to disappear, as if it were dropped by a player and no one touched it or picked it up for the full 30 seconds. The sword's normal respawn time is 50 seconds, but when you add in the 30 seconds needed for the weapon to despawn, that is actually 1 minute and 20 seconds. That would put the respawn time at 55:20, give or take a couple seconds. Next, I'm going to show the different variations of shooting the sniper down from S3. If you shoot the left barrel, the sniper doesn't move. That's the best thing to do if you spawn at snipe and you want to keep the sniper there. If you shoot the middle barrel, the sniper will blow into BR2. This is the best option if you spawn at BR tower. If you shoot the right barrel, the sniper will bounce top middle, putting it closer to BR tower, but still out in the open. You won't get the same results every time due to lag or shooting multiple barrels at once, but most of the time the sniper ends up as you see here. Now, if you don't want anybody to have the sniper for the whole game, try throwing a grenade at it. My first attempt wasn't successful, but this one was. As I mentioned with the sword, when a weapon goes to the bottom of the map, it's just sitting there. It doesn't despawn. Since the sniper was never picked up, it thinks it's still on spawn, and due to the power weapon rules in this game, another sniper will never spawn because there can only be one on the map at a time. The same applies for the sword, which you can nade off with a well-placed grenade. This can be done anytime a weapon is on spawn, either at the beginning of the game or in the middle. Next, you'll see how to jump up from S1 to S2 as long as the barrel is still there. You have to sort of walk off the edge of the barrel and then jump at the last second. If you're host, you can also grenade jump up. In Halo 2, grenade jumping only works for the host player and is not as advantageous as it was in Halo 1. Here are 2 common wall glitches in Green Room on Lockout. The first is the wall facing into Green Room. As you can see here, it almost completely covers your body. The second one is the broken door that's sticking out on the right. This can lead to some situations where 2 players are trying to wall glitch each other and neither one can kill the other. However, the wall glitch on the broken door is much better than the other one and should allow the player on the broken door to at least get a kill with body shots. The player on the broken door is almost completely covered, but he is much more susceptible to grenades. Next is a great spot to place the oddball carrier that will shield him from all grenades as long as the barrel is still there. If the barrel is not there, he could also jump off another player's head. This spot forces the other team to enter blue room to get any shots on the ball carrier. Now here's a glitch I thought I'd point out since it occurred that can happen online or on LAN. For some reason there's a disconnect between what all the non-host players see and what actually has happened to the oddball. This only seems to affect the oddball and not the flag or CTF. The host will actually be able to see that the ball is still top blue room, but every other player will see it in some other spot and be unable to pick it up if it's still on the map. This is a good technique if you and a teammate are stuck bottom BR tower and are looking for a safe way up. This will surprise most players, especially if they didn't see you down below, but even players that are looking out for it won't be able to watch it 24/7 and see if you're coming up. Next, I'm going to show off my version of the library window grenade from elbow. I stand at the bottom of the ramp and line myself up with the crack that runs through the middle of the ramp. I may also walk half a step up the ramp, which if you haven't gone too far, you will automatically slide down to the bottom of the ramp. I then position my reticle so the very middle of it is aiming at the top left corner of the doorway leading from bottom middle to sword. I then look straight up so the bottom left quarter circle of my reticle is covering the top wire. From here you can throw 2 plasmas or 3 frags, either of which should kill a fully shielded player standing in the window. Also right here I adjust my reticle a tiny bit upwards. You have a little bit of leeway with this, so you don't have to be exactly covering the wire or a little bit above it like I am. The grenades will still hit about the same spot. And all I was doing here was just checking to make sure that the grenades would still hit roughly the same spot. You also don't have to be standing exactly where I'm at, and there are quite a few different variations on this grenade throw, so try what works best for you. Now I'm going to show you how to take out those pesky guys that sit top blue when you're holding BR Tower. Just walk into this corner, aim your reticle so that the middle is lined up with the right edge of that wall, and go straight up until the very bottom of the vertical line at the bottom of your cursor is just slightly above the slanted edge. This position only works with plasma grenades, which is a good thing because plasma grenades are the only grenade type that spawn on BR Tower, but I also remember having a spot for throwing frag grenades when Halo 2 was still on the MLG circuit. If I can figure it out again, I'll be sure to include it in one of my future videos. Here's a simple Snipe 1 to Snipe 3 grenade. If you happen to spawn bottom middle, or you're sneaking across, you can take out anyone that might be sitting S3, or blow up the barrel so the sniper flies across the map for your teammates, just by bouncing a nade off the ceiling. Now here's a pretty well known, but not really often used jump to get from open ramp to BR3. It's a very useful jump, and it's not utilized as much as it should be. Now I'm just going to show off a very simple jump that almost everyone probably knows about, jumping from top middle to BR3. Here's another very useful jump from S1 to top middle, which is especially useful in oddball as it will allow you to quickly grab the ball and bring it back to Snipe 1. Here's kind of the opposite, jumping from Snipe 1 to Snipe 2. An easy way to do this if you're trying to be quick and sneaky is to jump to the left or right and bounce your head off the ceiling and land on the railing and then quickly jump up the door frame. From here, you can jump up to S3. If a player happened to sneak across and is camping S3 with like a shotgun or sword, you can get behind him by doing this. Also, I'll show off this ledge, which just like bottom blue room, is a very good spot to place the ball and makes you impervious to all grenades. Here's a really nice jump that is rarely used, but can be very useful in Team Slayer standoffs on Lockout. This will allow you to get from BR1 to bottom blue room, with most players on the other team probably not noticing. Also, these ledges on both sides of the bottom middle to bottom blue room ramp are very useful for hiding or placing the oddball if you need to stay alive just a few more seconds. And that finishes part 2. Stay tuned for part 3, which will finish Lockout and cover Beaver Creek.